Hi everyone. Welcome back to a new episode. Um, Before I get too much into it, I want to say, for the first time officially, a hello and welcome to our new Spotify audience. Um, this is something that back and forth on for a while. I really wanted to do it. So I finally decided to take the chance, and now we're available on Spotify. So welcome again to everyone, and we are so grateful and so appreciative that you guys are following along and hanging out. Um, Deep breaths, everyone. We're about to get into some stuff today. So today's show was entirely unplanned. I actually had another show planned for tomorrow. But yesterday, everything kind of went down. So you could say that this podcast and every motorsports journalist that covers sports car racing, their mental state for the past 24 hours is sponsored by Meyer Shank Racing. Oh boy. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the ever existing drama that is BoP. So I think we're just going to get right into it. So I have many notes on this, so bear with me. Let's talk timeline with the Meyer Shank situation. So, yesterday morning, Sports Car 365 breaks the news that uh, they manipulated the tire pressures at the Rolex, the race that they won. Overall winners. GTP, top of the thing, all of it. Parading and confetti, all the glory. After that, they release their statement, and then HPD releases their statement because the initial article and that information was not bad enough. The statements, whew, girl. Mm. So, kind of getting into like the points of the initial article. So, they manipulated their tire pressure data at the Rolex, um, made intentional software offsets within the tire pressures being reported by the tire pressure monitoring systems, which all of the yeah, all cars are required to fall within Michelin's prescribed minimum tire pressure mandates, which is monitored by the sanctioning body during the events. Um, and then there is like articles and um, attachments to that within the regulations, and there are things that have to happen within that. It's like Article 57 or something. I had a glance through it yesterday. So what happened is, and this is I think the part maybe initially, because we'll get more into this when I read their statement, but this discovery was initially made by HPD. And which is Honda Performance Development for everyone. They develop these cars, the Acuras, and that was kind of, everyone was kind of like, oh wow, like they discovered it and they didn't keep it within themselves. Which again, I'm just gonna read all the facts first. Um, so this discovery is made, is reported to IMSA, and then they get into the kind of like disciplinary section. So team and drivers lost 200 of their 350 championship points. All team and driver points uh, for the Michelin Endurance Cup, loss of prize money, and a $50,000 fine. Which, you know, okay, this is like a good, kind of, some people are like, oh, it's a good start. But, Mike Shank has been placed on probation until June 30th. Um, and engineer Ryan McCarthy was stripped of his IMSA credentials and placed on indefinite suspension. Then, so we have the, people saying like, oh, it's a good start. Like, their penalties, losing the points, all of that. Then we get to, per IMSA, no changes will be made to the official race results, with the number 60 team retaining the victory, race trophy, and race winning watches. All other teams and drivers will retain the points and prizes that went along with their finishing positions, and there will be no changes to the GTP manufacturer points. Right? So you're with me so far, you kind of understand like where maybe some rumblings from the fans are starting to appear. Then we get to the statements. The Meyer Shank Racing statement. Now, this to me, actually, you know what? I'll just read it first and I'll just let you know what I think. They say, it reads, "We accept the series decision and have taken responsibility. We want to apologize to everyone at Acura HPD and all of our partners. We have dealt with this issue internally, and the team member that was responsible is no longer with the organization. We do not want this error to overshadow the tremendous effort that our team, drivers, and all of our partners have put forth to develop this new LMDH car. We consider this matter closed and are fully focused on resetting and coming back for the 12 hours of Sebring." I will just give y'all a moment to soak that one in. And then, after that, HPD releases their statement, which I'm glad they did. I feel like that was very important. It reads, "We are extremely disappointed in the misconduct of the Meyer Shank Racing team during the Daytona race. We became aware of a problem with the data from the number 60 MSR car, and after a detailed investigation following the race, we reported our findings to IMSA. HPD does not tolerate any misconduct, delinquency, or data manipulation of any kind. We completely support the action of IMSA in the matter. We have put in a huge effort over 2 years with our chassis partners into the ARX06, which is what they call their cars, to make the best race car we could. To have this put into question is unacceptable. David Salters, President and Technical Director, HPD." So, okay, let's start. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the MSR statement. This to me really, really, really reads as the, oh gosh, it's the YouTuber who got caught doing something and their PR team made them apologize, but they're not sorry that they did it. They're sorry they got caught. It's like a non-apology, a faux apology, whatever you prefer. Like, it's so just the scapegoating, the scapegoating, just the kind of blanket, oh, we're so sorry, this matter is now closed. We're gonna focus on Sebring. Like, they're trying to like Homer Simpson like back into the bush and hope no one talks about it. That is not how this works. This is 2023. Sports car fans in just the history of the world are notorious for like wanting answers and thinking they can do that and just be like, okay, bye, we're not talking about it. That doesn't work. That's not, no. And it's just so disappointing. It's so disappointing that they think that they can just issue this bullshit apology and everyone will move on. Like, that's not it, fam. There are specific people I would like to hear from. I want to hear from Mike Shank. I mean, he probably won't ever say anything, but I want to hear from Mike Shank because this came from somewhere. It's not just, you know, Tim from data collection decided one day when he came into work that, hey, I think I'm going to mess with the tire pressure data. No, this came from somewhere. I think it's only fair that, I mean, you don't have to say everyone's name and address and totally dox them, but I think some real accountability is due. It just is. Actually, someone else that I would have loved to hear from, and I did try to track him down, is the person that they fired, but shocking, nowhere to be found. Second person that I would love to hear from is Wayne Taylor. I would love to know what was going through his head, what he was thinking, what he said when this news came out. Like, actually, line up all the owners, all the GTP cars. I want to hear from them all, but I really want to hear from Wayne Taylor because he's going to have some things to say. And he should. They all should. Um, I think the other part really that the fans were taking an issue with is the fact, hey, Robert, what's up? Yeah, I'm sure, I'm sure he's pissed, as he should be. I would be interested, I would be interested to see um, if there's any point in the coverage for Sebring if they try to talk about this because it's not, I feel like until we get more answers, it's not really going away. Um, the other thing that the fans were taking issue with was the fact that they're getting to keep their win. I, I see, like, I get it, but I get it from both sides. Like, you think as a fan, if you're gonna punish the team, you punish the whole team. You just take it all away. I guess from the other standpoint, you want to punish the people who are responsible, but the drivers had nothing to do with it, so you don't want to take it away from them. But I think in this case, you maybe have to, as much as that sucks, because they did race their asses off. But the first people I thought about in this case were the drivers, because you have Elio, you have Simon Pagino. They've been with Shank for a while, um, through their IndyCar program and all that, and then Tom Blomqvist, he's been around, but then Colin Brown is brand new to this. He is brand new to their team, and then this is what he has to like deal with the first time, like his very first race with them. That would just make me feel as a driver like I don't know anything. Like it breaks trust. Like it has to make you feel like going forward, can you trust your team who are supposed to have your back and you're supposed to be racing for each other? So it kills the trust. I feel like it would have to make you question as a driver if you won because you raced your ass off, or was it whatever they were doing behind the scenes, which is also not right. Um, I was seeing a little bit of just, about people talking about, oh, being like, oh wow, HPD was the one to like tattle on them, like essentially they tattled on themselves. Well, it was the right thing to do because, like David Salter said, they put in like 2 years of work, and for every single person that worked on that car and continues to work on that car, if I was that person and someone was doing this and making questions from something I developed, I would be so mad. Like, sorry, you're not going to get away with shit. So that was the absolute right thing to do. If they hadn't done that, I would really be, it would be worse. It would be. Um, I think kind of going back just to like questioning, I think now as a fan, because I always say that even though this is my job, I am a fan first. And as a fan, I now question not only the legitimacy of uh, Meyer Shank and IMSA, but I question the legitimacy of his IndyCar program, which really sucks because, like I said, for the longest time, Elio and Simon Pagenaud are like my drivers. They're my favorites. Like I say it all the time, Elio Castroneves is my favorite IndyCar driver. So it sucks when you see that because I don't want to, you know, question those things. It's not good for the sport. It's not good for anyone. But it does kind of make you think like, was it just this? Was it just this one time thing? Or where does it go? It kind of opens up a hole, which I'm not going to go down, but for some people, that's kind of, what happens. So it's bad on all sides. And I don't know how they come back from it because they want to just move on and be like, doo doo doo, we're getting ready for Sebring, woo! But this, things like this don't just go away. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you come back from it, but bullshit non apologies are not it. They're just not. Not in any world, not in any field, especially not motorsports. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see just where it goes and to see because no one, you don't know at this point, what's going to happen, but it's disappointing. Like, it's messy, it's ugly, and honestly, my thing was it was like the classic I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Like, it's so disappointing, which is worse because I'll get over being mad in like a second, but if you disappoint me, I gotta think about that. Oh, I didn't know it was three. I think Jensen Button is great. I love that he's doing that. Um, I've always been a fan of his, so to see him kind of back, like actively involved in doing more stuff, I think is cool. I think people give RWR a lot of shit in NASCAR. Um, so I think now that I know that it's three, I'll definitely keep an eye on it. I think it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. I know that Jordan Taylor is gonna do a race with Hendrick and fill in, which I love. I'm in a Discord server with him. He's great. Um, So yeah, I think the second thing I really want to talk about, where I have notes on my phone for this one. Yeah, okay, see, Coda was the one that I knew about. I love that Kimi Räikkönen is doing more NASCAR, by the way. I think that is just the greatest thing because it is like the last thing you would expect, but he's like, yeah, I want to do it again. Ah, okay. I think Chicago will be interesting. Just the lighting. Chicago will be interesting just as a whole. And I like the Indy Road Course, so that's exciting. Um, Second thing I wanted to talk about is BOP. Everyone's favorite subject. Nobody gets mad about that. Um, Mostly Porsche BOP. So it is no secret. We all know this. At Daytona, it was awful. IMSA really, really, really did Porsche dirty with BOP at Daytona. It was bad. They were so far off the pace. I felt so bad. It was, there it was very obvious that something had to be done and something had to be done quickly because I mean, leaving it would have just been a nightmare. It's still kind of a nightmare. Um After Daytona, there was the independent kind of BOP test that a lot of teams did, and Porsche was still not happy with what they were seeing. They were still significantly slower, pace was just off, and that was when teams were, oh, excuse me, that is when teams were threatening to leave. Whether it was pulling out of the Endurance Cup or just pulling out of their full season to only do Endurance Cup or just threatening to leave entirely. Um, Ryan Hardwick said he's going to go and do some WEC races and pull back his IMSA support and having his team in there, which, if that doesn't make you want to make a change as a series, then I can't help you. Like, no one can. But today, they released BOP for Sebring. It says Porsche is getting a 5 millimeter larger restrictor. So now they are going to run 38 millimeters, um, which is so far the biggest that they have had. Um, the ones that they ran at the sanction test were 34s, which was the ones that they were still not happy with. And even those were bigger. I think they were like 1 millimeter bigger than the ones that they ran at the Rolex. Um, so I think that they were hoping because there was later on that week, um, there were teams that had tested additional sizes, and I think 38 was what their kind of like their happy medium. I heard people saying that 40 really gave them a lot, but I don't think that IMSA was going to allow that. I think it was like too big. So I think they're going to try it with, obviously they are going to try it with the 38s and hope that that gives them what they need and what they want because there's a lot of unhappy people right now, and that's very fair. Um, One of the main things that people were saying for Sebring, because there were teams that were saying that they were going to evaluate after Sebring and decide if they wanted to still, you know, be active participants. Teams were like, we don't want to pay $350,000 just to drive around in a circle and not be competitive. which is very fair. If you're forking out the money and you have your whole team and this is your whole operation, this is your gig, like you don't want no one's racing for last place. So hopefully, maybe, I don't know, it does something to like move in a positive direction, but it needs to move in a positive direction if IMSA wants to still have Porsche in their series. Because if they just left entirely, that would be really, really bad. Yeah. But I don't need to tell you guys that. You already know. Let's see. What other BOP things happened today? The there was some stuff for the new for 2023 cars, the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis. The Ferrari is getting an increase in turbo pressures, but that comes with an increase in minimum weight. Lamborghinis, because really no one at Daytona got a BOP change, I think, except for BMW. I think that's what it was. But pretty much none of the other manufacturers really had much. So everyone's kind of getting some stuff here. Lamborghinis, their minimum weight is staying the same, but they will have a 2 millimeter larger air restrictor. So that should give them a little bit more power because they were kind of like bumbling around at Daytona too. They weren't as highly competitive as people were thinking. Let's see. I have so many notes. The Acura, the NSXs, they're getting 15 kilogram weight brakes as well. So it's them, it's Aston Martin, it's BMW, it's Corvette, and it's Lexus. They're all getting the 15 kilogram weight brake. Mercedes, they were given an extra 15 kilograms of weight, while the Acura got an increase in turbo boost pressures, and the Aston Martins will have slightly less power. So, lots of stuff. But I think the biggest thing that everyone is going to be on the lookout for is Porsche performance. Because that's kind of a make or break situation right now. Like it got bad fast. But yeah, there was always like little changes in BOP for everyone. So yeah, we'll see hopefully a little bit more for Lamborghini as well, just because you always want the most competitive racing that you can get. And, obviously we saw competition at Daytona, but as the season goes on, you really want everyone to be able to perform at their highest level. So hopefully we will get that. Oh, next week, early next week, I believe, I'll let you guys know on my social media what day and time, but Emu and I are going to be back together and making our predictions for Sebring. Because we're doing it for all the endurance races this year. And just to remind everyone, I am up 3-2 right now. Because, okay, listen. I was talking to her about this because I told her about, all the drama that was going on. And when we did our predictions for Daytona, I was back and forth between the 10 and the 60. And I ended up picking the 10. And I told her, I was like, honestly, if I would have picked the 60, knowing, obviously what happened yesterday, I was like, I would have taken the point away from myself. I would have. And she was like, well, she was not happy that I ended up picking another team because I totally would have. It would have been, the right thing to do. They're getting penalized, so obviously I take away the point. But yeah, we're gonna be back to doing that, and then I ordered something on eBay the other day. I ordered some more I guess you call them trading cards. Um, but they are for hydroplane racing, which is kind of, something I want us to get some more coverage of this year. I don't know how we would do that, but I want to see how I can work it in because it is one of my favorites. But yeah, um, more card openings and pack openings. I think I mean I would assume that they're gonna do cards for F1 again, but I haven't seen any new ones yet. So if you guys see like a 2023 version of the F1 trading cards, let me know because I want to buy a pack. If, because they had like a really big pack last year that was like came in a big box. It was like all of them because I know you can get like individual like smaller packs, but if I can find like a big box for this year, then I will get it and we will unbox it here and Emu and I will divvy up the ones if there's any that she wants. And see if we get any cool ones. Um what else? Oh, our we had our first week of F1 Fantasy, which I didn't know because prior to this, you guys know that we've never done this before. I didn't know you could earn negative points. I was really, really unhappy to find out that you could. Yeah, not great. Um, but I've already made some changes. I made a budget decision to, even though like it was one of those, it's like, yeah, I know they're bad, but how bad can they really, really be? McLaren, McLaren did me so dirty. Those negative 10 points were very unhelpful because the way I structured my team, I didn't have like a whole lot left budget wise because, we have to stay within the budget caps. And yeah, we had to stay within the budget cap. And I was like, oh, okay, it'll probably be fine. No, it wasn't. Literally on Monday, I yeeted them out of there and picked someone else. Hey, Marco, what's up? Oh, yeah, I got negative points because of Esteban Ocon, too. He just got all the penalties at once. It was very unhelpful to me. Although, not as bad because I can see, everyone, the teams of everyone in my league. My poor dear co-host, she had her DRS boost on Esteban, so he earned her negative 34 points, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry for you. Because seeing the negative 17 that I had, I was like, oh dear god, how does that even happen? Oh, you made more than I did. Let me check mine. I think I'm in second place now because of that situation. Oh, that is very white. Underlighting is not very fun. And let's see. Leagues. Yeah, I got 143 points. Okay, so what I did was I have it set so with our league we could have made up to 3 teams because I made one that I wanted, one just for fun and one because my dad was like, "What you doing? Can I do that without doing that?" And I was like, "Oh, fine, I'll make you a team." Um, so I have my three teams, and the one that, let's see, which one did me the worst? Yeah, the one that did me the worst was my first team. I called them Team Spicy Boys because it's Max, Carlos, Esteban, K-Meg, and Alonso. And then I had Ferrari and McLaren. Immediately used one of my transfers. Yeah, the one that did me the best because I earned, let's see. Yeah, I'm sitting second, third, and fourth in my league right now because, and they all kind of earn the same. So they earned me 140 points. Um, Team three, which I named, actually, you know what, we'll get to that in a minute. My second team earned me 141 points, and then my best performing team earned me 143. Better than the 78 that Emu earned. Not as good as the 224 that Quackers got on us. Kind of annoyed about that. But my second team is kind of Mercedes heavy. So I have Lewis, Pierre Gasly, Bottas, George Russell, Lando, which I don't know if I'm going to keep him. We'll see. Then I have Mercedes and Haas, and I named them Total Wolf Yelling, just, because I wanted to name them Total Wolf's Headset, but that name was already taken, and I'm not surprised. And then I have my third team, which is hashtag facial hair, because in their photos they all have facial hair. And I'm just so uncreative like that. I have Charles Leclerc, K-Meg, Bottas again, Fernando, and Checo. And then that's my Red Bull and Alpine team. Yeah, I got negative points for that one too. So yeah, it's been kind of a learning curve so far. It was much more stressful than I thought it was going to be, like initially putting the teams together. But I feel like now I'm in kind of a groove. Although I feel like I might, because I have my DRS boost on Max, Lewis, and Charles Leclerc, but I feel like I might have to move that. I don't want negative points again. And I don't definitely don't want double negative points. Yeah, I can't. I really just couldn't do anything. I feel like with McLaren, I picked Lando almost out of pity because I was like, yeah, the car kind of sucks, but maybe he'll do something. But it's just so bad. Actually, where is he? I might transfer him. Do you guys think I should transfer him? I get 2 free transfers. I think it has to be done. Let's see. Who can I get? Hmm. Is it smart to pick Lance? Just like for this week. We'll get rid of him if I don't like him. But is that a good replacement? His value did go up over the weekend. I do have a consultant for this, which is just one of my friends that I roped into being my consultant because he really didn't want to join the league. So I could be asking him this, but I don't want to. Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll see how that turns out. Okay, that is a good point. McLaren is doing well in literally everything else, but they're sucking so hard in F1, and I don't know how they're doing it. Like, they had a really impressive first IndyCar race. Like, overall, as a team, they did really well. Yeah, literally. And considering how chaotic that IndyCar race was, they survived really well. I was impressed. But yeah, I think that might wrap it up for this one. Um, it's been a lot. It's been a lot in the past 24 hours. I was telling some friends about this who are not like super into motorsports, but they are super into like reality TV and Bravo. And there's been a scandal going on Bravo, and I was like, yeah, this what's happening in motorsports is the equivalent of that. And they were like, oh my god. Yeah, it's been kind of a lot. And I think on some level it'll probably continue to be kind of a lot for a while. But we just kind of have to see how it unfolds. A lot is riding on Sebring for a lot of situations. Um, so yeah, we're just gonna have to see. Like I said, back next week for predictions. You guys get your predictions ready too. We would love to know who you think is gonna win at Sebring. Literally could be anyone. I think there's 54 cars entered, which is a good amount. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, we're excited to see where our new Spotify venture takes us. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.